I can feel like 80 rats in my Marys. Me and Drizzy back to back is getting scary. If you fucking with my eyes, just don't come near me. Put some bins all on your head like Justin Terry. Whoa.
Let's get it. Welcome to Faison View Podcast, episode 202, Double Standard, man. Best friend, a brother, and guest host today. Let's get it. Dieris, we on here.
How y'all doing, man? I ain't doing nothing.
Hey, man, make sure you like, subscribe. Thank you for all the supporters, man. Continue to watch Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Guess what? Color Power. Man, make sure you go get that below. Handcrafted jewelry by yours truly. You already know I'm coming. So we got amazing things to talk about today, so we're gonna get straight into it. Lil Wayne pleads guilty, faces up to 10 years for gun charge, and sells his masters for $100 million. We're gonna get into that. R&B singer Ann Marie released after allegedly shooting partner in head for cheating, so we're gonna get into that as well. Meek Mill Akademiks have a discussion also with 21 and some other notable names within the Clubhouse app. We're going to discuss and talk about that. Next, how long would you have to be talking to a partner to get a holiday gift? And lastly, probably my toughest would you rather, honestly. Would you rather go back to your ex, no matter what ex, just your ex in general, or repeat 2020? Tough one, guys. I don't know where we go. But first and foremost, let's kick it off, man. Lil Wayne, man, pleads guilty and faces charges up to 10 years with the weapon and gun charge. So we already know that situation. Unfortunately, he has to go through it. And it's sad because a lot of these rappers really need to have weapons on them, even though they do have security, because you see all these things of this nature happening. And what me and my boy was just talking about how security shouldn't be just your boy or your partner, because guess what?
It just don't work well that way.
It don't work.
Because your boy, that's your partner, he's not gonna watch your back and protect you the way he should do. And Wayne, as him being a high profile artist, he shouldn't even be on a private plane with a gun anyway for him to even be in that type of situation, because he has a lot of family to feed. He has fans out there. And he should be at it should be at a point in his career where he shouldn't even have to carry weapons or do anything of that nature. And just about the Masters thing, it's so sad that we have so many different artists that have been in the game for 15 plus years or 20 plus years with such legendary statuses, and they still have to sell their masters or they have to fight for their master. There should be some type of thing in the industry where all the OGs and all the legends that actually put a mark in this game should have some type of compensation. A lot of these artists that are OGs and legends, they don't even have health insurance. They die because they're in such bad situations. So I feel like Wayne as a legend, he shouldn't be selling his masters.
He shouldn't be having to sell his masters.
They should be cutting him a check.
Absolutely.
They should be cutting him checks. They should be making sure that he's straight in his financial situation as far as going into his jail situation.
And then for Wayne to be the artist he is, and how humbling he is, and how generous he is, and we all know that Young Money, the franchise, he really started in all these big acts within your Tigers, within your Drake and your Nicki Minaj. You gotta understand that it's crazy, because I'm not saying they speak out on it or anything like that, because the situation is tough. And they don't want to be, pit in the middle, especially with the Cash Money situation and Universal, in which he sold his $100 million to Universal, in which I was discussing it should be way more than $100 million. But first and foremost, the real issue at hand is the fact that Wayne is such an icon and legend and getting treated so poorly within the music industry. Cash Money and all this really started on Wayne's back. If you want to be honest, he's been 13, and without Birdman, yes, he wouldn't have succeeded to the level he did, but without him, they wouldn't have succeeded to the level they were. It wouldn't be Universal, wouldn't be as big as they are. Cash Money wouldn't be as big as they are either. Like, I feel like Wayne's catalog is worth $500+ million, and it's not even close. It's not even like it's ridiculous. And in a recent interview, Wayne even speaking to his mixtapes being free, like, that speaks to his character and speaks to who he is. He put Nicki and Drake into a situation where he wanted them to take over no matter what happened. In his first jail stint, was going on right now. And they took over. And at the end of the day, like, he deserves way more than what he gets in general and respect wise in this game. Like it's heartbreaking.
And the thing I would like to add to that, all these rap artists or artists in general, you have to stop thinking you're invincible, because there's a lot of RICOs, there's a lot of indictments going on for artists thinking that they're not watching you just because you're at such a high standard, high stature in this game, that we're not looking at you. And it's crazy because them are the exact people they're looking at, because they know it's a whole entity. It's a whole lot of things going on within your organization. Not even organization, I wouldn't say allegedly, I wouldn't say organization. Well, I'm just saying, if you are a street artist and you only talk about street music, they're gonna already think that you have some type of organization.
Absolutely.
It's all about what you give to the public. As artists, you have to be mindful of what you give to the public and what you rap about and what you speak on certain topics or what you're talking about when you go on certain interviews. You must be careful because they are watching. You are not invincible.
Yes, that's an amazing point, because at the end of the day, it's accountability. Because what we saying about Wayne on the flip side, like what Dears is saying, it's all about the energy that you put out there. Wayne doesn't, exude that energy of like all the time guns and stuff like that, but it is within the content of music, and it's what you put in the public eye just in general. So like with the Wayne situation, it's just tough because he's been in the media, for ripple effects, but also we gotta understand that he's a human being. He going through his things, and also Wayne is kind of crazy because Wayne is such a hidden person. He don't really come out and talk that too much and do things, but lately he's been in the media so much, and it's heartbreaking because his project just came out, his mixtape No Ceilings 3 just came out, and we gotta focus on
it's
him
overshadowing.
It's overshadowing it, and focus on him selling his masses, man. It's a tough situation, and we just, as really big Wayne stands, it's heartbreaking.
It's
bro.
definitely heartbreaking.
Like, 100 million, like to sell your masses, understandably, and what we were talking about earlier, understandably, like that is a lot of money for a catalog. That shows you how great his catalog is. But for what he earned,
what he's done,
he deserves way more. I mean, from what the companies have earned from him, he deserves way more. Honestly, Cash Money has sold, a billion plus streams. I know it's Drake and Nicki, but we wouldn't have Drake and Nicki if it wasn't for Wayne. So, if he didn't pave the way, you wouldn't have your futures. You wouldn't have a lot. Like we can go down the list. You would have a lot of people.
He definitely deserves better.
Impact.
He definitely deserves better. And most artists that are out there too as well, you must know your worth. You must know what you're worth, because these labels, they're gonna give you all these deals because they think you're not smart enough. They don't think you're worth the amount that you're actually putting in work, because they don't know that because they're not actually in the studio with you.
Facts.
They don't go through the same things you go through. So you must know your worth, or they never will.
Yep, and mindful of like you're just saying, reading your contracts, understanding.
Read your contracts. Have lawyers.
Yeah, knowing things, because at the end of the day, we love Wayne, but I think I'm gonna just be real. Doug spoke to this. I kind of disagree, but I agree to it when he was saying in the interview. He was just speaking to that Wayne, in a sense, was spoiled because Birdman, a lot of his life, what Birdman needs credit for, he put a lot of the groundwork in for Wayne to do what he does, and Wayne speaks to it all the time and respects Birdman, no matter what happens, what's going through. But just being mindful that you need to be in those rooms too. You need to understand that too, not just somebody else.
Know the business.
Understand it and know the business.
Know the business.
Know the business at the end of the day. So, hey man, we just praying for Wayne, and we're gonna keep it moving.
Hopefully his case come out, the way he wants it to come out.
At the end of the day, for real. So, secondly, R&B singer Ann Marie released after allegedly shooting partner in the head for cheating. This is the double standards we talk about as men. I'm just being honest. We both understand and know that it's a lot of people out here, domestic charges, especially in the industry of celebrities. I'm not gonna say no names, but you got football players, people out here doing wrongfully. But this situation is very crazy, and also she's an R&B singer too, so it adds way
more flair to the
situation. So I totally disagree with the standpoint of like championing this. I've been seeing more people champion this situation because it was an alleged cheating situation, but she shot this man in the head. Fortunately, fortunately he is alive. But it's the connotation behind it, because if it was a man who shot a woman, in the head, shot a woman or anything,
He'll be getting dragged.
Dragged,
He would definitely
and as he
get
should,
more time,
and as he should, and
everything,
and
the
as
whole
he
situation
should
be completely different.
Completely different. We would be under the jail by now. We wouldn't, and she was released on bond, so he would be under the jail right now. So it's just at the end of the day, like keeping the temperature and keeping the energy the same on the same level of playing field, because wrong is wrong and right is right. Like, let's stop trying to champion certain behavior just because with the reason it was
Sex of the situation.
and the sex of the situation. It's not cool either way. If it was a man doing this, we would still be sitting here talking about how effed up it was. We don't sit here and just talk about women. We're not misogynistic at all. But I do want to get it out there that we need to stop the double standards, because it's double standards everywhere. So it's like right is right and wrong is wrong, no matter what the gender is. And it's just crazy because, man, y'all had to stop putting yourself in the situations too. You had to stop putting yourself in the situations too where you're in a toxic relationship or you're in something toxic. If you don't want to be there, bro, just leave, bro. Yeah. Just leave, because you don't need to be getting caught cheating. If you want to just do you, if you want to do you, just leave, bro. If you already feel like that situation is toxic or it's just not for you, bro, just leave. Because I understand, because I also, I seen something go viral about a woman who was playing around. She was upset with her boyfriend, whatever. She was playing around. This is a recent video. She was playing around, put a little dummy in the bed or whatever.
Oh, he shot the dummy.
Yeah, and then, on the Snapchat.
You gotta stop. And that's to his take. You have to stop playing with people's emotions. And if you feel a certain way within yourself and you're dealing with a certain person, they maybe make you feel that certain way, like you said, you must leave. And the Ann Marie situation is so scary because nowadays we're being so desensitized to death or just wrongful doings to people. And at this situation in life, we have to start making people take accountability for their actions. If that, like he said, if it was a man that actually shot a woman, and it doesn't even matter if the woman touched him, it doesn't matter. The women always win in the law. So if that's the case, we must hold women accountable too as well for situations they do as well. You can't look at a less situation because she's a woman, because she probably had motive. She had intent just like any other man would when he did the same thing. And it's so sad because that man could have lost his life because of her jealousy, her envy. But the people in social media and stuff like that, because we're in such a love-hate culture, that they're praising her for doing such thing to this man when he probably necessarily didn't deserve it. And even if he actually did something bad to her or whatever, they could have settled it in a different way. He didn't deserve to get shot. Unless he, if her life was in a life-death situation.
Yes, exactly.
If she was a life-death situation and she had to protect herself, then that's halfway understandable. But how people are reacting to it and they praising her and they showing all this love and stuff like that is wrong, because of, like he said, if a guy would have done that, he would have been murdered in the media, murdered, and he probably got 100 years. He probably been locked up for so long. So we have to hold both sides accountable, or we're going to continue to get, screwed, and it's going to be so much of a disconnect between the two, because we don't have no common ground. No, we don't agree on anything. It's the egos. It's all about the egos. We want to outhold a person, outdo this, outdo that. It's not about that. At some point, somebody got to be the bigger man. Somebody got to step up and make the right decisions for the sake of the person that's probably not in the right mindset.
For sure. You're absolutely right. We both hit it on the nail, man. Hey, man and woman, it's double standards out there, but we have to understand that, especially us black men and women, we have to understand that we have to come to a common ground. We can't keep on doing negative to one another and then going back home in each other's face after you just talk trash about them.
Right, and expect me
to talk and communicate with one another and take accountability.
Take accountability, communicating and accountability.
For sure. So this next one is real interesting as well. We just had to talk about Vlad, and we're gonna get into this discussion. Meek Mill and Act have a discussion on the Chatty House CH app. For real. And it was a very intriguing conversation, but I feel like that needed to be had. I'm glad the conversation happened. But also, just with me just speaking on Act real quick, because this pros and cons to Act is and I don't want to just speak negatively on him. The pros are, at the end of the day, he does have his platform. He has risen his platform from the ground up. He has a lot of influence. He's actually been impactful in the industry. A lot of people actually go to his page for news. A lot of people actually are impacted and influenced by Act. So I understand that, and Act actually, he deserves his credit as a media personality and where he's going in his career. Well, on the flip side of things, Akademiks, in which a lot of people, like shun him about, is just the fact of the energy in which he talks about and what he puts out there, and how personal he gets within that information. Because if you're going to be a media outlet and things of that nature, then you can't be biased and you can't be on just one side of the spectrum. And just the energy that you put out there with these certain type of beefs and certain things that are going on, sometimes it's just not good. Not sometimes, all the time, it's not good to interject. And you can't interject when you just keep saying that, oh yeah, you're a citizen, but you're interjecting in street politics and street things. So you're just understanding that, and I feel like that was very much well explained from 21 Savage. I love 21 Savage.
And my pro about DJ Akademiks is like the Chicago thing that he covers, like his most popular segment to this day. Regardless, we understand that, a lot of lives, rest in peace to all the lives that were affected by his videos based on the Chicago situation. Based off of that, he still put a lot of people on the spotlight that would probably never get that spotlight ever. He gave a lot of people from Chicago, whether it was good or bad, he gave them a lot of publicity to actually feed their families. So these Akademiks definitely helped a lot of families, flourish. He helped a lot of artists flourish. He helped a lot of people. But it's just the way that DJ Akademiks went about it, and a lot of things he was doing was very, very biased, because he only seen it through his eyes. He didn't kind of see it through the eyes of the people that were getting killed. You know what I'm saying? The people that were getting killed, and the people that were actually affected by it, not just being killed, just being affected by the situation. And he wasn't there to actually feel and understand it, so he could never put himself in the shoes of a lot of those people that were affected by his thing. So I feel like he should have took a little bit more accountability for, the crumbs he left behind.
So, and I feel like on the flip side of that, because we did say Meek Mill was having this discussion, it was just with Meek Mill. I'm a fan of Meek Mill. I love his music and everything he's doing, and the platform he's had that he's elevated. But also with Meek Mill, it's about not being biased as well. It's not about being biased as well and taking it too personal as well. Just like Akademiks and Meek, they both are taking it too personal,
taking it way too personal.
At the end of the day, we got to call a spade, and we can't be biased about the situation, because at the end of the day, Meek Mill, he is from the streets. He does come from that background. But also, it's one thing you talk about, killing and stuff like that, and we talk about reform. So it's like, I can understand how Ack is viewing things too, and how other people can view things about how Meek Mill is coming about the situation. So it's about not being biased and take accountability for your shit first before you get on anybody else about their situation. So at the end of the day, I felt like that was explained. That was a discussion we actually needed to hear. 21 Savage, I have a ton. I already had a respect for 21 Savage, but like me and Diaz are talking about, and just we're both not being biased at the situation. 21 Savage was that level-headed person to see it on both sides, and while the rumors just chastising Act, understand that he has a platform. He has respect. He has a following too. He's not like no low life, and we wouldn't be talking to him if he wasn't of importance. He was just anybody, just anybody. He does have influence, so let's respect as such, and let's respect each other's opinions. So with 21 and intervening in that was just beautiful to see, because it's still at the end of the day, black men having a discussion on how we are going to further ourselves at the end of the day.
In this culture. And Meek Mill, like to his point, is this Meek Mill. I feel like he sometimes is the vibes I got from the clubhouse, that he was kind of looking for someone to blame. When he started off, most of his catalog is kind of talking about the struggles of black culture and talking about shooting this, robbing that. So you can't be mad at a guy like DJ Akademiks, because DJ Akademiks looked up to a guy like Meek Mill. So these Akademiks might have actually, started learning to, blog and stuff like that from just artists like Meek Mill that actually you know what I'm saying, a lot of crime and violence. And they kind of saw that was a way to, you know, to kind of capitalize, because that's what the industry capitalized off of, crime and violence. So crime and violence and money makes the world go round. And that's what Meek Mill kind of mostly talked about in his whole career. So he can't really feel mad and upset with a guy like DJ Akademiks until he started changing his ways, and he changed his platform. He changed the way he gets his music out there to the people. I know he's kind of doing that more so now, but Meek Mill can't just get into a different path and forget about the crumbs he left behind too, because there's a lot of artists, you know, a lot of children that's been affected behind his lyrics from when he first started too. And DJ Akademiks, I feel like he was a little bit cornered in the situation. That's why 21 Savage had to come in and tell him, saying like, we all rap about the same shit. We rap about killing, robbing, but it's just how you're doing it, because a lot of these things that you're putting out to the public, these academics, it's lead to people getting indicted.
Yep.
It's leading to people, and like 21 said, like a lot of information that you're putting out to these academics, a lot of people wouldn't even be privy to. You're giving them information that, okay, we understand all the underlying things, but the shit you're putting out, bro, like the stuff you're putting out is giving the public more and more. You're feeding that energy of negativity. They just want these academics to realize that you're feeding negativity. If you're gonna have this platform, you're such a high caliber person, you got to talk about the good. You have to talk about the positivity. Well, you got to, just as much as you're gonna praise the bad, you definitely have to praise the good.
Yeah, and then not be so sad when the bad happens, because you have a lot to do with that bad happening too. So just calling a spade, and also what we was talking about, keeping the same energy that y'all have for academics to Vlad, because we just starting to understand Vlad. People are starting to just understand that. Oh yeah, well he does this and that. He's been doing this for about 7, 8, 9, 10 years, for a long time now. And we don't act, and we need to keep the same energy on him, because he's really a culture vulture in many ways, and he's not a part of our culture. You know, I understand that, like we was discussing, he has had great interviews in the past. Yes, he has had interviews where he's not talking, but guess what? He has way more interviews of him first 48 and all these rappers, and y'all just telling him nilly-willy what y'all want, and it's on y'all too. So hold the same energy and same accountability for yourselves and for Vlad, just like y'all holding for Act.
You definitely, like he said, like we both talked about plenty of times, you definitely have to hold Vlad TV accountable, because a lot of his interviews are definitely leading people into destruction, or it's giving a wrong idea about certain, you know, topics or views. It's kind of biases in his point of view, and you can't really think about his point of view or take his point of view into serious accountability if he wasn't there. But he used a lot of people pain and misery to further his platform. And we have to be careful about going to certain people's platforms, because they don't look out for the best interest for you. They just want more money. They just want more gain. They just want you to help them further their, you know, their plight in the black community, so they can keep making more and more money and keep tricking these young kids, because they think, okay, he's on black TV, so I can be on black TV. And everybody got to start, you know, this other interviewers that are better than Black TV, that are black. So we got to stop going to black, or like Breakfast Club, or just like how we talk to our other black people that are interviewing us. Or I see artists talking to other black people, they just don't want to answer nothing. They be ignorant. They be all standoffish. Then they get on Vlad and they want to tell them everything. I'm like, why would you want to tell everything to somebody that's not even familiar to the culture? But then you have your black brother that's trying to interview you, and you're acting like he trying to set you up, and that's what they do. They make you feel like your own people are out to get you, when actually the enemy is right there.
Right there in your face.
Right there in your face. It's not your homie. It could be a homie. Don't get me wrong, but obviously Vlad TV is not looking out for the best interests of us. Because when people die and stuff like that, he's playing their interviews back, like flashbacks and stuff like that. He's just trying to capitalize fully off of that. That's way more than DJ Akademiks. DJ Akademiks is not interviewing people. He's not, you know what I'm saying, using the other people's struggles. It's now, I mean, I guess he did, but DJ Akademiks is now, you know, realizing it, and I actually respect him for sitting down and allowing 21 Savage and Meek Mill, whether I like what he said or not, express their opinions and actually get off what they need to say, because this black community, or just hip hop, whatever it is, we need to start talking. We need to start having open dialogue so we can settle beefs with words and, you know, just using our minds instead of guns and violence. And I love it. I love the dynamics. I love the transparency they try to have. And I feel like a lot of people that are beefing or whatever, OGs need to sit them down and they need to have some good conversations and talk it out, because some things can be repaired. But if it can't, then just go your separate way and live your life, because everybody want to live.
For sure. So that was definitely a good discussion as well. So next, man, how long would you have to be talking to a partner, you know, or just talking or dating for you to buy a holiday gift for, or whoever your partner is? I particularly would say it's based off of it's really based off of that bond you have with, but I would say a strong 3 to 6 months. And I'm more so on the edge of 6 months, because it's a lost art in today's generation is getting to know someone. It's all about the shock value of the first impression. The first impression is most important, of course, but also, just like music, we don't stay long enough to hear the good things or experience the good things. It's all shock value. It's all quick, fast, in a hurry. So it's just, at the end of the day, I would want a person to really know me and I know them before I even go to that gesture of getting them a gift. Going to out to eat and things of that nature, that's the process of dating. But getting a holiday gift, it's a whole nother standpoint. That has to be heartfelt, and you have to mean that. So I would say the 3 to 6 months range for me.
And for me, I would kind of say probably around the same time, but like 1 or 2 months. And I'm only saying that because that's not necessarily, if you're in a relationship with somebody or it's your partner, like I said, it also depends on how long you've been with that person. But me personally, if I really fuck with you, if I really like you, I really have some type of interest in you from the beginning or to the end, it doesn't matter kind of the time. If I'm talking to you at the moment and Christmas is around the corner and I respect you enough to give you a gift, it kind of don't really matter the time. It don't matter the person at that particular time. It just matter the time, the person. It just matter the person. I'm so sorry. Matter the person. So if I respect you and I'm fucking with you at the moment, and I like you, then I wouldn't mind giving you a gift. It's just, if you show me respect, I respect you.
Yeah. And it's just all about the energy, like he's saying, all about the energy that we putting out there. Like that's just the vibing off the energy, because like he said, it doesn't have to be a certain timetable, because if y'all vibing, y'all connecting, and y'all feel a certain way about each other, then that's gonna stand out, and you're gonna know whether that person is the one for you or not, and the one to actually spend your money and time on. So
yeah, you definitely got to know that person is worth spending your money on, at least. Even if y'all not in like a serious relationship, y'all not like 3 or 4 years in, if you have enough respect and you know that person has, you know, good energy and good vibes and good connections with you, it doesn't really matter the time and, you know, day. It's all about the heart and what you feel inside, and if you feel like that person deserves it.
For sure. So lastly, I think this is one of my best, if not the best, would you rather. Would you rather go back to your ex, any ex, no matter, we're just saying ex in general, or repeat 2020? Look here.
I'll go first with this one.
You got it.
I'm a definitely, because I don't really have a lot of beefs with all my exes. People be acting like your exes is the devil. When we talk about exes,
because you're not with them.
Well,
but not all of them yet.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's definitely exes out there that is just probably burning bleach in your clothes, doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff, hopping on your car when you're pulling off. But 2020, all the death that's been happening, you know, the coronavirus is still here. Everything is still here as far as like the coronavirus, and I can't compare that to an ex. I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't put 2020 all these tragedies and deaths over an ex. So I'm gonna definitely go with my ex on this one. If this was a different circumstances, different time, definitely I would go with the year that we in, not the ex. But 2020 hurt me more than the ex have. And rest in peace to all the fallen people that died too.
That's first and foremost.
Because that hit hard. 2020 hitting harder than the back.
In America alone. We have over 300,000 deaths in America alone. So
yeah, and everybody, please be safe.
Be safe. And
please be safe out there.
So me, bruh, this is tough, but I'm gonna say my flip side on both real quick before I give you an answer. 2020 has been a tragic year in which we just spoke to so many deaths, so many just erratic things, just crazy things just happening, popping up. Like from day one till all the way to now in December, man. It's just been a roller coaster. But for me, it's been one of my best. It was been one of my best years financially and growing and the growth in with myself, because at understanding my platform, understanding my brand, and building my brand with my entrepreneurship, with this podcast, with my color power, and with me being a teacher, and me elevating other things, bro. I'm just going into other standpoints in my life, and it's just been a blessing. Because a lot of people have not been blessed in these situations, so I just don't take it for granted, and I want to thank God. So, but repeating this year, it'd be tough, and like Dears was just saying, all my exes, like all my exes, I wouldn't just say have been bad or terrible or anything like that, but I've been through situations where I would never go back to, never. But in this situation, if I were to particularly pick one, I'll particularly pick one. So. I would probably say go back to my ex, because I wouldn't repeat 2020 solely off the fact how devastating and detrimental it was, but it elevated me to another level. So it's a tough one, but you don't want to have death, and especially with me having a son, I wouldn't even wish this situation. You know what I'm saying? With the Rona and me having to move around, it's a good thing because the cleanliness, but it's a bad thing because you just never know. It's done, never know. So I guess I'll say my ex, bro.
I'm going with the X on that one. Because 2020 is.
Any other question?
It's a different animal.
Yes. If it wasn't 2020,
it was a different circumstance.
I would say
I'll go with that year or that other thing.
Facts.
I didn't really have a lot of bad reports on my ex. Like, it's been times where I felt hurt and. You know what I'm saying?
And it's the growth.
And beat up about it, but at the same time, you work through everything. Once you work through it, if you look back, it don't feel as bad, and because you're a different person.
Made you who you are.
It changes you, and it can change for the better or worse. That's up to you to decide.
Right. So, yeah, that is definitely something, but we both chose that one. But, man, amazing episode, amazing.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Man, already know, man. You already know, brother. So Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, make sure you like, subscribe. Love you all supporters. First time listeners, man. Make sure you get on this, man. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. And also, man, go cop you some handcrafted jewelry by yours truly. It's going to be below, man.
Go cop. It's nice.
Much love, bro.
Much love, yo.
Peace.